Welcome back to income tax class. In the previous class, we were in the middle of the problem. We observed two primary conditions. We have tested. Okay. In our testing, first primary condition was not satisfied by the assessee. His name is money. Okay. Coming to second primary condition, we have observed it, we have tested it, and he satisfied this condition. So we came to a conclusion that the assessee is a resident. Assessee is a resident. Now we have to check the remaining two additional conditions to mention whether he is resident and ordinary resident or resident but not ordinary resident. That has to be tested, means we have to go for two additional conditions. See, resident, first additional condition is he should be a resident in 2 out of 10 previous years. That is the first additional condition. So I am again writing here, I am copying resident in 2 out of 10 previous years. This is the first condition, first additional condition. See, resident in 2 out of 10 previous years means you just see. Resident means what is the condition? Out of these two conditions, at least one he has to satisfy. In the previous 10 years, he was to be a resident in just 2 years. Means just 182 days if he stayed in our country during last 10 years, at least in 2 years, he stayed in 182 days, he is a resident. Now you can see by observing here, we have already calculated. During the last 4 years, prior to previous year, you can see how many days he stayed in our country. 1,440 days he stayed in our country. So this first additional condition is satisfied. First additional condition is he should be a resident in 2 out of 10 years, 10 previous years. See, resident means only 182 days in each year. If he satisfies even one condition, that is enough. So whereas if you check, he is staying more than 1,440 days in these 4 years. But what about this? Only 2 years we require. See, in this year, he is staying more than 182 days. This year also, he stayed more than 182 days. So in the last 10 years, he has to be a resident for just 2 years. So by observing this calculation, you can say that this condition is satisfied. Condition satisfied. Now coming to second condition. What is that second condition? He should have stayed in India for 730 days in the previous 7 years. Now that is the condition. Now you see. See, this condition is also, you can see, he stayed in our country for 1,440 days in the last 4 years only. Whereas chance is given for us in the last 7 previous years. He should be there in our country only for 730 days. So this condition is also satisfied if you observe the previous calculation. So this condition is satisfied. Condition is satisfied. Now you can see, so what the assessee has done in two primary conditions, one primary condition he is satisfied, and in two additional conditions, both are satisfied by the person, by the assessee. So you note down up to now, the conclusion I will mention. You note down these points. Additional conditions, if you check, he was a resident of India during the last 2 years, during the 2 years in the last 10 years, and he stayed in our country for 730 days during the last 7 previous years. Both these conditions are satisfied. Hence, he is, in our conclusion, what you can say? He satisfied one primary conditions and two additional conditions are satisfied by him. Yes, is there any doubt in anybody? You can ask now. If anybody has any doubt, please ask me now.
No, condition India ki.
Yes, please. I am unable to listen properly.
ఇండియాకి నిజంగా ఫారెన్ పోవడానికి నిజమైన కండిషన్స్ ఇవ్వనా మీరు ఓన్లీ సబ్జెక్ట్ కోసం చెప్తున్నారా సార్?
Just a minute. Now you can say, what is your doubt? Please, you mention now. You ask your doubt now. Your voice is
ఇలాంటి కండిషన్ నిజంగా ఉంటాయా సార్ అంటున్నా?
in real life. Huh?
Yes, sir.
Yes, real life it happens, no? See, for some Indian citizens, they will go to foreign countries. Some foreigners, they will come to India. They will do business in India, staying in a foreign country. Then how to solve those problems? I will just show you an example. Okay. You first note down these conditions. Now, once I am stopping this, and I will share this. Share screen. Okay. See, now what is the conclusion? Are you able to see this screen now? Are you able
Yes,
to
sir.
see this PowerPoint presentation? Now you can see. See, our conclusion is going to be like this. These are the concluding points. See, this is the summary of residential status of an individual assessee. See, a person is going to be treated as resident and ordinary resident if he fulfills any one of the primary conditions. See, in our example, he has satisfied one primary condition and both the secondary conditions given. So in our example, he has satisfied one primary condition and two secondary conditions also he has satisfied. So he will become resident and ordinary resident. Is it clear? In our example, he has satisfied one primary condition and two secondary conditions also he has satisfied. So in that case, the assessee will be treated as a resident and ordinarily resident in our country. Suppose in any other problem you may find resident but not ordinary resident. How you can say? See, if the individual fulfills any of the primary conditions and only one or none of the secondary conditions. So in case if an individual satisfies only one primary condition and only one or zero of the secondary conditions, he does not satisfy any secondary condition, or he satisfied only one secondary condition. Apart from it, he satisfied one primary condition. In that case, the person will be treated as resident but not ordinarily resident. Now, non-resident means simply if he does not satisfy two primary conditions, you need not check additional conditions. You need not check secondary conditions. Directly he will be termed as non-resident. In the first problem, in the first example, we have done that. Non-resident will be, a person will be deemed as non-resident when he does not fulfill even one of the primary conditions. You need not go for secondary check. Secondary conditions you need not check in that case. If he satisfies at least one primary condition, you check for secondary conditions. Otherwise, secondary conditions checking is not required. Okay? Did you understand?
Yes, sir.
So now, see what is our conclusion? As the assessee satisfied one primary condition and two secondary conditions, his residential status is, in inverted commas you have to put resident and ordinarily resident. Likewise, you have to put. See, I am mentioning again for your understanding. if an assessee satisfies any one of the two primary conditions, and these two primary conditions, if an assessee satisfies, he will be treated as resident and ordinarily resident in our country. If he satisfies only one of the primary conditions, he does not satisfy any additional conditions, then he is not resident but not ordinary resident. If he does not satisfy any of the primary conditions, you need not check additional conditions. He is a non-resident, that's all. Did you understand? Did you understand?
Yes, sir, clearly.
Okay. Now, why in the beginning itself I mentioned why it is important to calculate residential status. See, citizenship is not important in case of income tax. Residentialship is important. A person can be, an assessee can be resident, not non-resident, and not ordinarily resident. Okay, in these three conditions, how a person's income tax liability is influenced, we will examine with the help of a simple problem. Okay, we will see that problem. But before that, let me do this thing. Okay. So you are able to see the screen, no? This PowerPoint presentation. Summary of residential status of individual assessee. You are able to see this, no?
No, sir.
Are you unable to see this?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. Now you see. See, we will see. Next topic is just to, once I will go back to the syllabus, whether we are going according to the syllabus or not, for your understanding, for your cross check. See, this is our syllabus. Direct and indirect taxes is over. Canons of taxation is over. Features and history of income tax in India is over. Definitions and basic concepts of income tax like assessee, deemed assessee, assessee in default, assessee previous year, person, agricultural income, heads of income. How many heads are there?
5 heads.
Very good. 5 heads are there. What is gross total income? What is total income? Income exempt from tax. Up to here, we went in serial order. In the last 2-3 classes, we examined residential status and scope of total income, how it is going to be influenced. We have seen meaning of residential status. See, in this topic, this is the topic we started. Scope of total income, the impact of residential status. In this one, we have seen the meaning of residential status. Conditions applicable to an individual assessee. See, at the beginning of the residential status I mentioned, we have only individual assessee. That is why we will examine only individual assessee's conditions. So in individual assessee, we have examined 2 kinds of conditions. One set is primary conditions. Second set is secondary conditions or additional conditions. Okay. Now this is the last topic, incidence of tax and types of incomes. Okay. See, this chapter is totally theory only. But if I simply mention the conditions and leave means you will not be able to understand. So that is why 2 or 3 simple problems we are going to do. Already in the previous classes, we have done residential status calculation based on primary conditions, based on secondary conditions. Today, I have done one problem. Actually, this first unit is totally theory. But only theory, if I say, means you cannot understand residential status. So that is why we have calculated 2 simple problems till now. Okay, now we will see incidence of tax. Why residential status is important, we will see now. If you see this table, you will be able to understand. See, this is known as incidence of tax. See, under Income Tax Act, Section 5, incidence of tax implies liability of paying a tax. So in India, I mentioned clearly, citizenship is not important. residential status is important to pay tax. Any assessee has to pay tax in our country based on his residential status. Means if his residential status is divided into three categories. I have already mentioned. A person can be, an assessee can be resident and ordinarily resident. Resident, but not ordinarily resident, and non-resident. I am again mentioning a person will be treated as resident and ordinarily resident in case he satisfies at least one primary condition and two additional conditions. If a person will be treated as resident but not ordinarily resident if he satisfies at least one primary condition and at least one of the additional conditions. If he satisfies, he will become resident but not ordinarily resident. But if he does not satisfy any primary condition, you need not check additional conditions. He will be a non-resident. Is it clear, dear students? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, see, according to Section C of Indian Income Tax Act, this is the applicability or chargeability to tax a person's income. Now you see what is the applicability we will examine. See, if Indian income, see, for this purpose, incomes are classified into two types of incomes. One is Indian income, second income is foreign income. See, what is Indian income? Any income that is earned in India, that is Indian income. A person worked here in a school or in a college or in an office, in a factory, he earned here, that is an Indian income. Similarly, another type of income is also known as Indian income. Provided, see, a company is established in foreign country. Let us take, for example, in Sri Lanka, a company is established, but its directors are staying in India only. It is totally controlled from India only. That income generating from Sri Lankan company's income is also deemed as Indian income. Because even though the company is set up in Sri Lanka, it is totally controlled from India. So that is why it will be deemed as Indian income. Foreign income means those incomes which are earned by individuals in foreign country. So other than Indian incomes, totally they are termed as foreign income. I am repeating, Indian income means the income earned in India. Secondly, if any companies, if any organization's total control is situated in India only, that income is also deemed as Indian income. Did you understand? Is it clear?
Okay, sir.
Okay, now you see, in case of Indian income, for resident and ordinary resident, it is taxable. After you keep India. It is taxable in India. If a person is resident and ordinarily resident. If a person is resident but not ordinarily resident in India, even then he has to pay tax because it is Indian income. Even for non-resident also, if it is Indian income means he has to pay tax. So on Indian incomes, even though he is a resident and ordinary resident, he is resident but not ordinarily resident, he is a non-resident, it makes no difference. He has to pay tax on Indian incomes. So every assessee is bound to pay tax, even if he is a foreigner. He has to pay tax in our country. Now, foreign income. What is foreign income? See, taxable for resident and ordinarily resident, it is taxable in our country. Foreign income, he has to pay on foreign income also. A resident and ordinary resident has to pay tax in our country. See, suppose I earned some income from Sri Lanka University. I visited that university and I have given an extension lecture. They paid me 10,000 rupees. I am taxable because even though it is a foreign income, I am a resident and ordinarily resident here in India. So I have to pay tax. Whereas, see, for foreign income, resident but not ordinary resident, taxable. It is taxable only if business is controlled wholly or partly from, or the profession is set up in India. See, after in, you always keep India. So if it is taxable, provided The business is controlled from India, wholly or partly. Suppose let us take, for example, Hindu undivided family is set up in Indonesia. Karta is staying here. You know, Hindu undivided families is controlled by Karta. Karta is staying in India. So in that case, on foreign income, a resident, but not ordinarily resident, has to pay tax. But whereas in case of non-resident, he need not pay, not taxable in case of foreign income. Foreign income is not taxable to non-resident. It is not taxable. Okay, is it clear? On Indian incomes, there is no exemption. All have to pay tax. On foreign income, resident and ordinarily resident has to pay tax. Non-resident need not pay tax. But resident, but not ordinarily resident, has to pay tax provided the business is controlled either wholly or partly from Indian land. In that case, he has to pay tax. Okay. So foreign income, you understand, all incomes other than Indian incomes are foreign incomes. What is Indian income? Indian income, income earned in our country by working here. It may be in a school, in college, in office or factory, or in organization, or in a company. So whatever income that is earned and received in India is Indian income. All other incomes are foreign incomes. On foreign incomes, resident and ordinary resident has to pay tax. Non-resident need not pay. Resident, but not ordinarily resident, has to pay tax provided the business is from India. Okay. Next one, last one. Particulars income, particulars of income. Okay, particulars of income. See, this is the last category. Royalty, interest, and fee for technical services received from Indian company. See, if an SSC receives royalty or interest or free or fee for his technical expertise from an Indian company, everybody is taxable. Even though he is a resident or ordinary resident, he has to pay tax. He is a resident but not ordinary resident, he has to pay tax. Where even if he is a non-resident, he has to pay tax because it becomes an Indian income. On Indian income, everybody has to pay tax. So this is the situation. This is what you mean by saying incidence of tax. Incidence of tax implies based on the residential status of an SSC, how much tax he has to pay, how much tax he is going to attract. That is what you mean by saying incidence of tax. Did you understand? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, see, I know that you may be having doubts. So that is why one illustration, one example I brought for you. This problem is given in Krishna University. In June 2018, this problem is given to test whether how a person's liability, tax liability is influenced by his residential status. Okay, I will simply go through this problem and I will show the answer. This is already, I have done it and I have kept it in the slide. Just for your easy understanding, for time save, I have done like this. See, first one we observe. Following are the taxable incomes of Mr. A for the previous year 2019-20. Compute the total, see, at the end you see, compute the total taxable income of Mr. A for the assessment year 2021. See, it is the previous year and assessment year is next year 2021. These three conditions are given if he is resident, if he is ordinary resident and not ordinarily resident. How it is going to be influenced. I will discuss these. How many points are there? 7 points with you. Quickly, I will discuss. You follow them. First one, profit of a hotel business in Sydney. Sydney means which country? Sydney means which country? Sydney is a place in which country?
America or
Developed
Australia?
country, sir.
No, it is a place in Australia. In Australia, Sydney is there. Okay. Now, how a person's taxability is going to vary, you can observe. See, profit of a hotel business in Sydney. See, now he is a resident means he has to pay tax. He is not ordinary resident means he has to pay tax. See, here in this condition, you can see foreign income, even on foreign income, resident but not ordinary residents has to pay tax because it is controlled by Indian people. So that is why he has to pay tax. Okay, see, he has to pay tax, but for non-residents, it is not taxable. See, you can see this table. See, foreign income, if it is controlled, the business is controlled from India means a resident but not ordinary resident has to pay tax. But a non-resident need not pay tax, not taxable in case of a non-resident. So that is why you can see this place is situated in Australia, but controlled from India. So in that case, this 2 lakh rupees, this amount will attract tax in case of ordinary resident and not ordinary resident. But non-resident need not pay tax because it is situated in a foreign country. The person is also non-resident. So that is why he will not pay tax on this 2 lakh rupees. Is it clear? Did you understand? Did you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now next one. See, dividend declared in Paris. Paris means which country? France. France capital is Paris. France is a country in Europe. So dividend declared in Paris but received in India. This word is important. Received in India. Whenever any person receives income in India, it is an Indian income. Please remember, even though the declaration took place in a foreign country, but he received in our country only. So that will become an Indian income. So on Indian incomes, you have seen it is taxable. Indian income is taxable in all the 3 conditions. So on 60,000, even resident has to pay tax, not ordinary resident has to pay tax, non-resident also has to pay tax. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Now next one. Next condition is, next transaction is income from transfer of long-term capital asset in India. So this is an Indian income. Capital asset he is owning in India and he has received some income for transferring it. Its amount is 1,10,000. So it is Indian income means it is in the table we have seen. It is taxable in all the 3 conditions. Means resident has to pay tax on that one. Not ordinary resident has to pay tax on that one. Non-resident also has to pay tax on that one. Okay. Now next one. Royalty received in Germany. For Germany is a country in which continent? In Europe continent, Germany is there. So royalty means certain amount he received in Germany for technical services provided by a business carried on in Germany. So this income has nothing to do with India. It is not controlled by Indians. Totally, the link is with Germany. So in that case, you can see this is taxable in case of only ordinary resident. So that is why royalty received in Germany, you mention it. Royalty received in Germany. Here, profit of a hotel business in Sydney. Royalty received in Germany. 70,000. In resident has to pay tax. Not ordinary resident, he will not pay tax. Non-resident, he will not pay tax. Okay. Is it clear? Now next one.
Yes, sir.
Dividend from a domestic company. See, remember, dear students, in subsequent classes, you will learn dividend, they will be, assessees will be receiving dividends from shares. in stock exchanges, if you purchase company's shares, they will pay you dividend, provided profit is there, sufficient profit is there. So you remember one thing, dividend received from a domestic company is tax exempt. It will not attract tax. It is one of the tax exempted conditions. In one of the exempted incomes, you can see dividend from a domestic company. Okay. So that is why. So dividend from a domestic company, it is not taxable. It is exempted income. So resident also need not pay. Not ordinary resident also need not pay. Non-resident, there is no question of it. Okay. Next one. So interest on England development bonds. So you see properly, interest on England development bonds. See, 1 lakh rupees interest came from England. See, out of this 1 lakh, 1/5 received in India. 1/5 means in 1 lakh, 1/5 means how much?
1,000.
It will become 20,000. Please, you can calculate if you have any doubt. So 20,000 rupees. See, this 1 lakh rupees, in 1 lakh rupees, 80,000 is foreign income. 20,000 is Indian income, it means. Because 20,000 is received in India. 80,000 is received in foreign. Now you see. So on Indian income, all have to pay tax. So on 20,000, all the three have to pay tax. But on the remaining 80,000, means on total 1 lakh rupees, only Indian citizen is going to, normal citizen is going to pay tax. He is bound to pay tax. So that is why you can see this transaction. See, interest on development bonds in England, from England. It means in England, see, 1 lakh rupees resident, he has to pay tax on total income, whether it is Indian income or foreign income. Whereas not ordinarily resident, if amount belongs to India, amount he received in India, he has to pay tax. That will become Indian income. In 1 lakh rupees, 1/5 they received in India. So that is why non-resident also has to pay tax on 20,000. Not ordinary resident also has to pay tax on this 20,000. Whereas Indian resident, so normal resident, ordinarily resident, has to pay tax on total income, that is 1 lakh rupees. Is it clear? I hope it is clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Now, last one is income accrued in Bangalore. Means actually income is generated in Bangalore, but received in Singapore. 60,000 rupees, the income is earned in Bangalore only. Means for a work that is taken up in Bangalore, all the three categories of persons, means resident also received amount from Singapore only. Ordinary resident also received amount from Singapore only. Not ordinarily resident also received amount from Singapore only. So in all these three conditions, you remember, this will become an Indian income. This income accrued means they earned this income in India. Even if you earn income in India, you receive anywhere in the world, it will become Indian income only. So on Indian income, already I mentioned, on Indian income, all the three categories of persons have to pay tax. Means even if he is a resident, even if he is a not ordinary resident, even if he is a non-resident, he has to pay tax. So remember, my dear students, you can compare these three. For non-resident, less amount is going to attract for tax. Whereas for ordinarily resident, more amount he has to pay tax because he is a normal citizen of our country. Means other words, in income tax parlance, he is an ordinary resident in our country. So that is why his income will be attracting more tax. Whereas not ordinary resident, some more than non-resident, it will be attracting tax for not ordinary resident. So this is the importance of incidence of tax and residential status of an individual. I hope it is clear to all the students. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much, dear students. We will meet in the next class. Thank you very much for listening.